Hey, Lisamarie, how are you doing?
Good, nice to see you.
Hey, Scott.
Okay, we are
Hi.
live. Wait for the countdown. Guys, hold on 1 second. It's not broadcasting in a moment with the countdown. Hey, everyone. How's everyone been? We're going to start in just a moment.
Good.
Be a lot better if Scott had told me it was sport jacket day.
Is Scott wearing a sport jacket, or is that just part of his background?
All right.
I don't know. Maybe he had his computer put it on him.
Go ahead.
3, 2. Fasting, we are recording and we are live.
Hi, welcome everyone to the Three-Martini Lunch, which is a national virtual networking event powered by Rockstar Connect. We are broadcasting this live to over 250 Facebook groups, so there's thousands of people that are watching. We also have people in the chat lounge that are participating and asking questions. And we have the virtual lounge from Hio that's available. Anytime while the panelists are speaking, we have some great panelists today. Some of them have been on before and others are new. You'll be able to go into the virtual lounge, and Sarah will be dropping information regarding the virtual lounge into the chat. In the virtual lounge, Jackie will be the moderator there, and she'll be able to answer any questions for you regarding Hio. Hey, so welcome to all of our panelists. It's been quite a week, hasn't it? Been quite a week. Has everyone had enough sleep? If you've had enough sleep, raise your hand. Okay, so 2 people have had enough sleep. All of our panelists are not here yet. We have a few that are going to be joining us this hour, and some a little bit later in the hour. It is a Three-Martini Lunch, so for people that are viewing, it is permissible to have a cup of coffee or a martini or a favorite beverage while you're watching the program today. I'm having a good old-fashioned screwdriver today. I'm not a big drinker, but today I thought a drink would be nice considering everything that's going on in the world right now. This Rockstar Connect is a national networking event company facilitator. We have hosts all over the United States. Many of our hosts will be participating as panelists today. And our mission has always been to support and help grow local businesses wherever they may be, whomever owns them, regardless of the person's religion or color or political belief. And we continue to do so. And those small businesses are responsible for the livelihoods of tens of thousands of employees and provide services to millions of people. And I do want to continue to say that we really appreciate everything that you do, and we understand all the suffering that everyone in the community is experiencing right now. We pledge our support for peaceful protests and dialogues, and we condemn violence from anyone, regardless of who is directing that violence. So now that we've addressed the 400-pound gorilla in the room, we're going to jump into the traditional Three-Martini Lunch format, and I'm glad our panelists have joined us today. The Three-Martini Lunch is a complement to the Rockstar Connect physical events that are held all over the entire country. And prior to COVID-19 and the shutdown of most venues having the ability to have events, we quickly pivoted into virtual. And this particular event that you're in, Three-Martini Lunch, and this is for the panelists and for the people that are in the audience, is designed so that we can continue networking. We want you to make connections in the Hyatt Lounge. We want you to drop into the chat information about your business. Feel free to do that there. And we are going to do what is called Success is Contagious today. And essentially the format is, I'm going to go to all the panelists and give them the opportunity to tell a little bit about what they do. But more importantly, I want to learn about their character and their integrity and what they believe in. And we do that by sharing our successes. And of course, everyone in the audience, you know, whether you be in a Facebook group listening right now or whether you're in the chat audience, we want you to share a success as well. And that success could be business oriented, it could be family, it could be personal, or you just showed up today to participate. I'd like to start off by sharing a success that I have had that I'm very happy about. At the beginning, prior to the shutdown, about a month or two beforehand, I had a pretty serious injury where I had a chef knife fall off the counter in my home and it went directly into my foot. And I passed out, lost blood. And when I was in urgent care, I probably stepped on a scale for the first time in over a year. I had been taking a medication, and the medication had contributed to a major weight gain. And I had to get off of that medication because of the bad symptoms. But in the meantime, I started taking some measures with my health in order to feel better, and also, for my family's well-being, because it would be devastating if I was to pass at a young age and leave them on their own. And since that, I've expanded that into doing some daily exercise. I'm not running miles, but I am taking walks every day. In fact, my lovely wife, Sarah, who is in charge of everything that's going on here today and making this happen, she basically walks me. She walks the dog and she walks me. I don't have a leash on, but she gives me that opportunity to take a walk with her, and she slows down her pace in order to allow me to participate. I've also been doing intermittent fasting, which was introduced to me by a friend, and I've lost a substantial amount of weight. I'm sleeping better. I no longer need to take the medication that was causing the problems, because the symptoms of that problem are now going away through exercise and diet. So I would have to say that's my great success, and it's a success just not for me, but for my family and my friends and all the people that participate in Rockstar Connect around the country, because I get to be here and interact with you. I want to jump over now to Domenic. Domenic, tell us a little bit about yourself, and please share your success with us.
Hey, Stephen, thanks for having me here again. I appreciate being here, as well as getting to see all of my friends on the panel here. That's awesome. So my name is Domenic Battistella. I am a business continuity specialist with New York Life. So that means I work with business owners in preparing strategies with dealing with all of the unknown things that happen in the world. So whether it's a pandemic, whether it's fire, act of God, or some of the things that have gone on this week that may impact your business, we create plans for helping you deal with that and come out on the other side better and stronger, and making sure that you have the resources to do that. So a success that I had this week is I did help a couple of new clients put some of this type of planning in place, and was able to help them make sure that if something does happen that impacts their business, again, that they will have the resources to be able to pay their employees and be able to pay their fixed expenses, so they come out on the other side ready to go when things settle down. Another success that I had this week, and you're not allowed to tell anybody, but I bought Heather her ring, and I'm giving it to her this weekend.
Congratulations. Awesome.
So
And
I had to say that very quietly.
Question.
Problem is this is a live broadcast, so Domenic.
Yeah, she's not watching.
Right, Scott, why don't you, and it's being broadcast everywhere, so please, to the thousands of people that are watching, please keep that a secret. Congratulations to you. Scott, why don't you introduce yourself and your success, and then we'll come back to you next, Brian.
Yeah, certainly. So thanks for having me, Stephen, and great, as Domenic said, to see all of my friends out here on the panel, a few new faces, so looking forward to meeting you guys as well. I'm Scott Rutter. I own my own Goosehead Insurance Agency, where I specialize in home, auto, and life insurance. And success to me, Stephen, it's how you leave the other people around you feeling. So that to me is really what success is, and that's what I try and live by, is making those around me always feel like special, right? So, and my success is, after this call, I'm going to go to the pool with the family.
Well, that's fantastic, and I do want to thank Scott, because he and I have the same philosophy. Scott is a host of 3 Rockstar Connect events. In addition to that, when he first started in Rockstar Connect, I had lunch with him and I explained my philosophy, and we're very much on the same page. And he has become a partner with us here at Rockstar Connect. And in addition to that, he's like my networking wingman. So he's giving me introductions, I'm giving him introductions. We're making sure that we are serving in our purpose as leaders in the community, and that is making other people feel good and helping them in any way we can. Thank you, Scott. Brian McNeill, I've been watching your social media this week, and you've been extremely active, doing big things to help your tribe and help all of your followers and sphere of influence here in North Carolina and all the way across the United States. Tell us a little bit about what you do and a lot about what your successes have been.
Amen. My name is Brian McNeill, and I help people to sell themselves and their services better. And there's a lot of folks in here right now. It's good to see some of my clients on here right now, actually. But there are a lot of people that offer an intangible service, and a lot of them really, really do help people, but a lot of them don't earn the money that they could because they're not selling it well. And I teach people how to sell better through my coaching workshops and my academy. It's been interesting, too, my successes this week. Because I've been public, very, very public, we host a show Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. with my wife. People reach out to us when things like this happen. Things like what's been going on. This past week was probably the ugliest week I can remember, but a lot of people have been asking me to give input. Yesterday, I was talking to Sarah before we went live, and I'm going to count that as a success, actually. But yesterday, I was a part of 6 different live broadcasts, 6. Now, that's good. And the good thing about that is I get a chance to share my word, my opinion. I put myself out there as a subject matter expert, and I get to drive people to my business. And I profit when I get a chance to speak in these lives. I pivoted this way. So, but that's what I'm going to count as my success, just being more and more public. I'm still able to maintain my book of clients, and I'm still able to put the things that I want in my schedule. It's just gotten a little bit busier.
Hey, thank you, Brian. And you're bringing up an excellent point. And this is something I discussed with Sarah yesterday. One of the things I do love about this panel are the people that are on this panel. They are networking with other people in the Rockstar Connect community. They are helping those people make money. They're helping them make money right now when money may be tight. In addition to that, they're making money for themselves. We're all, entrepreneurs, we're business people. That is one of our goals. What Sarah and I were saying is we are big givers, but you also have to recognize that you have to pay the bills now. So understand that when people are asking for your help them as much as you can, but also see which ways you can create revenue for your own business. On that note, I'm going to welcome a new panelist, Toya Hodges. Atoya, if you could tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we would love to hear you share success.
Okay. I run an organization called Blueprint Management Solutions, and I am a business and personal concierge provider. So one of the things that I do is I work with small business owners to be that administrative arm. We do bookkeeping, human resources, assisting work, project management. So anything that a small business owner would need, we're able to provide that service. On the personal side, for the really busy professionals that need individuals to come and run personal errands, keep the house clean, do their meal prep, their cooking, so they're able to either concentrate more on their business, they're able to focus more on their family, spending more time. We're able to free up a lot of that time that is spent in the home.
That's fantastic. Sarah, please drop that into the chat. We want to know more about what your successes have been this week.
Okay.
That tells people whether they want to do business with you and continue
Absolutely.
the conversation.
Okay, some of our successes this week has been that we have expanded our services to start helping small businesses reopen. And we've gone in and actually done hospital sanitation for small businesses so they can reopen, and they're able to let their clients know that it's cut, that we went in, we cleaned it, we sterilized everything, and it's safe to open. On a personal level, I also graduated this week from a program called Crown for Success, and that opens up a lot of networking. And amongst us, there's several therapists, and I am a therapist, and we have created a group to where we actually are volunteering our therapy services for people that are suffering from PTSD or people that are suffering from depression from COVID, in addition to all of the riot situations that are going on.
Well, it sounds like you're doing all the right things. Thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
Stay put because you're going to be asked some more questions.
I'm sure. Thank you.
Hello, Lisamarie. How are you?
Hello, Stephen. So nice to see you, and hello to all the panelists. And
It's terrific to see you. It's been a while. I noticed you're sporting a new hairstyle.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes. So if you could share with us what you're doing out in Nevada and what has been your success since we've seen you last.
Yeah. So primarily what I do is I'm a commercial real estate broker, and I have a team of commercial real estate agents and also residential real estate agents to provide full service real estate services to our clients. And, so I'm a professional speaker, I'm a professional networker, and I've been using social media to present a small business survival guide for coronavirus. So I'm too deep into that series, and that's been really exciting. One of my wins is, so I live in downtown Reno, right in the core, and we had some peaceful protesting over the weekend, but we also had some rioters that were bust into our town to cause some damage and destruction. So it was very scary. But what I did the next day is I went out and did some videos of all of the people in our community that came together to clean up our downtown. We suffered some pretty serious damage, and I know that that's happening in other places throughout the United States, but I really was so honored and felt so full of love to see the people in our community bringing down their own supplies and working with the city and other businesses to restore our community. And even local restaurants were providing food to the hundreds of volunteers. So it really brought some hope and some positive feelings to our community. I had several hundred shares of the posts I did on Facebook of all of the nice things that were happening. So I feel like as a community and as a nation, we really want to hear some good news right now, and I want to help spread that good news.
That's fantastic. Lisamarie, if you could drop sometime in the next 2 hours links to where people can see the videos that you made, maybe they can share them, or with your permission, use them as a roadmap to create their own similar videos in their own communities.
Yes, and the small business survival guide for coronavirus is some basic, but also some more nuanced tools that small businesses can use to think outside the box and to help themselves and other businesses to survive and thrive during this time. So I'm happy to do that, and it's great to be here today. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you for joining us. I know you're very busy. Welcome, Chris. Chris Rogers. Chris, you're all suited up today, and you're no longer wearing chef's uniform. So you probably have some news to share with us about what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Yep, mine, first and foremost, it's amazing seeing all your faces as usual. Yes, I get to wear a suit again, no more chef coat. I will put the disclaimer out though, if the phones ring and to-go orders come up, I still have to do those little things for now until we start opening for lunch again. Yes, so we opened up on Thursday of this past week, and the community support has just been absolutely amazing. We've been busy following all social distancing guidelines, following all the guidelines we need to make sure every guest feels safe and cared for at the same time. But we're rolling again. We got people coming through the door. Booked 7 parties in the last 3 days. So that's my success. Is the parties are starting to come back in, and we're making it happen.
That's terrific. Excellent news. And Chris, we really appreciate you. We're going to be starting networking events up shortly, as soon as we can here in North Carolina. And Chris will be very actively involved in kicking off Rockstar Connect events around the country. Thank you. We're also joined today by Mark Sher, who is an active sponsor of this panel. He is responsible for us to have this, and we really appreciate him. Mark, if you could tell us a little bit about what you do and your company, and share with us the success that you've had this week.
Thanks, Stephen. I guess it's going to belay my age, but I feel like I'm on the Hollywood Squares.
So who are you on the Hollywood Squares?
Excuse me?
Who would you be on the Hollywood Squares? Are you?
I don't know. But, you know,
Goldberg.
Just on the faces, the talking, the boxes, it just reminds me of that old TV show. But that being said, I'm the founder of Safe Harbor Financial Group. I'm a registered financial consultant, and our primary goal is to teach people financial literacy. Put it into layman's terms, if we could show people how to get out of debt, typically in 9 years or less, including their mortgage and student loans, if they have any, without spending any more than they're currently spending, we ask them for 20 minutes of their time to talk to them. And we do that for small businesses and individuals alike. Had a nice business success. Someone I talked to, 26-year-old gal who 2 years out of dental school. And here's a tidbit for you. I always thought that doctors matriculated with the greatest amount of student loans. The average non-specializing doctor has about $250,000 in student loan debt. The average dentist has $300,000 plus, which may be why they have the #1 suicide rate. That's a bad joke, but anyway. Dentists have the highest student loan debt of any profession out there. It's amazing. And this gal had about $328,000 in student loan debt. She's been working for 2 years as a dentist. She makes about $125,000 a year. And we're able to show her a way to restructure that she, instead of 46 years and $500,000 in interest, we're going to have her out of all her debt in 9.3 years and save her $352,000 in interest. She thought that was neat, so did we. On a personal level, Florida's been reopening. I went to a Dick's Sporting Goods store, and when I talk to people, I teach them about money. And one of the things I teach people is that spending is emotional. And usually, if you don't put a leash on me, I will end up in a Dick's Sporting Good or something like that and walk out with a golf club or a fishing rod that I didn't need. This time, I didn't do that. So
retail therapy, right?
Excuse me?
They call that retail therapy?
Yeah, but realize though, and for the women out there that have a boyfriend or are married, or I even ask you, Stephen, has Sarah ever come home and said, Stephen, guess what? And you said, what, Sarah? I just saved us $2,000. And you said, excuse me? She goes, yeah, see all these bags? This was $4,000. I got it on sale. So happens to men and women. Spending is emotional, and I broke my emotional trap by going to the sporting goods store and coming out empty-handed. So that's my personal success.
Sarah's two favorite stores, if she's having a stressful week, would be TJ Maxx or off 5th at Saks, the outlet Saks.
Exactly, yeah.
But she hasn't been for 3 months, so I think she's due. And she's a very good shopper. So I do feel that she does save me a lot of money even when she brings things home, because she's the hostess with the mostest and wears everything to the events. And she's looking to what she can wear at those events and be a great hostess.
There you go.
Tonight, Mark, Sher, and Tommy Episcopo are going to be hosting a Rockstar Connect virtual event. And it could be, from what I understand, Mark has prepared something very exciting.
Excuse me, is it tonight or is it tomorrow night?
You're on for tonight, Mark.
Is today Tuesday or Wednesday?
Today is Tuesday.
Okay, just checking. Okay,
and he has something very excited planned for his event tonight, and you should check it out. This is open. It's going to be primarily a lot of people from Florida, but it's open to the entire country. You're welcome to come in. Sarah is going to drop information where you can get an invite to that very intimate, and it's going to be a fun and funny and exciting event. That'll be there in the chat for you.
Okay.
Hey, thank you, Mark. Hey, Mike, I want to apologize. Mike Manning was supposed to be a panelist last week, and for some reason the link didn't get to him. We advertised that he was going to be a panelist, and several people came to listen to him. And they were a little upset that he wasn't here. I want everyone to know that was not Mark's fault. That was an internal problem, and now it's corrected. We're happy to have Mike back. Mike, tell us a little bit about what you do, but most importantly, what has been your successes this week?
Well, thanks, Stephen. Glad to be back, and no worries last week. Actually, the biggest question I have for people today is Domenic's fiance going from a last name of Jones to his name? That's the biggest question I got coming up.
He's actually taking her name.
Because it's Smith or Jones, right?
No, it's actually Davis, which works really well since I'm right next to Durham, so I can go by Crash.
Right.
Oh, I actually thought, Domenic, you were taking her first name.
I'll take anything she'll give me.
Okay. You're off to a good start then. Mike, so what's been your success this week?
So my name's Mike Manning. I'm a business coach at Wired to Change. We work with small business owners on establishing their sales and marketing processes and systems so they can grow their revenue. Because if you don't know your numbers, you don't know why your phone's ringing or why your phone's not ringing. So we are there to help. My success this week is getting better on social media with consistency on posting and commenting and helping promote people. So I feel good about that. Got a nice compliment today that a couple of people are seeing me more out there. So I'm getting better at that, hoping I can spread the word for other businesses. So feeling good at my age, grasping social media. So very happy.
Terrific. And your grandkids must be very proud of you.
Yes, my 22-month-old grandson will be helping me here shortly, as soon as he gets his own phone from his dad. So yeah.
That's terrific. I'm going to switch over to John Doorn. John has been hosting a Rockstar Connect event in Michigan for 3 years now, going on to his 4th year. And he has doubled down to make it an even more successful event. In addition to that, I've been following his social media, and it's impeccable in keeping up the spirits of the people in his group. So, John, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're a coach. You're also a real estate agent, and also what your successes have been this week.
Stephen, thank you. Thank you for your kind words, too. I appreciate that. Yeah, a real estate agent here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm managing partner of a small boutique. We've got about 30 agents. I do some coaching to insurance agents and real estate agents, and then do some speaking on mindset and social media. So social media, I think, is the universe and God's gift to all of us salespeople to be able to touch people on a regular basis. So I love that aspect of it. I think Mike talked about consistency. And for me, not too long ago, I was at the gym and I came around the corner. I'm more of a runner hiker than I am a weightlifter. And this dude came around and I said, "Hey, can I ask you a question? How long have you been doing this?" And he said, "I've been doing it for 13 years. And I mean, he had guns and you could tell he was committed and consistently doing it. So today my consistency last week paid off. I do some mailings. My family and I were walking through the neighborhood and somebody opened the door and said, "Hey, we want to talk to you about a house." So that consistency, I think a success for me was just a reminder to be consistent in every single thing that we do. And then I'm gonna, because I have the mic, I think my second success is I'm raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for Man and Woman of the Year. And that's over Friday. And I'm just super overwhelmed and proud of my team as we end this, that during all of this craziness, we were able to raise quite a bit of money for LOS. So I'm overwhelmed by that.
Can our national audience help put you over the top? Do you have a link that you would like to drop in there if anybody would like to make a contribution?
I would be grateful. A $50 donation or more, I will track you down. And I've got some Ashbury. I have a 1978 Westphalia that I use to brand myself, and it looks like that. And I have some really soft t-shirts made up. And if you donate more than $50, I'll track you down and we'll send you one. So Stephen, that's very generous. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Please put that in there. We really appreciate that. And we can send that out in an email to your group as well in Michigan. Just let the team know. And, we have a couple days. We could really do a lot to help people that are suffering from illnesses. Now, keep in mind, everyone, we have been dealing with COVID-19, but we also still have people out there that are suffering, from illnesses, heart disease. My aunt had a heart attack yesterday. In fact, people were suffering from cancer, depression, diabetes. If you contributed and helped those charities before, continue to do so. And if you didn't, maybe now it's a good time to start, because donations are really down and those organizations need your help. And if you don't have the money to help them, hey, you don't have to necessarily make a donation. You could share a link like John is sharing with your sphere of influence, because the effort is valued just as much as the money. Thank you, John. We're going right over to Katia, and Katia is an internationally known speaker and business coach. What would you like to share with us today regarding yourself and success?
Well, actually, I have two. One is we got our SBA loan this yesterday, so that's that was a nice. Thank you. But my second success actually is very personal. And one of the things that people see on my social media, they see what I want them to see. Obviously, they see the food, they see the success, obviously, of the company. That I'm traveling all over the world to speak, but we don't see much of my children. And I had the success this week was an amazing conversation with my middle child. She is adopted. She's African American. I got her, she was 2 days old, so she's now 18. So she's been mine since she was in the womb of her mom. And we had to have this discussion about what is happening right now and how this is affecting us as a mixed family. And that talk went so beautifully well. And it was really, really a success in the way that I know there is different side of so many things right now, but in our home, it was just us. We were just a family. And, at the end of the talk, my daughter said, why can't it just be like that out there? And it was one of those moments then I don't think I can ever get back. I wish I would have taped it to replay it, because when I look at the news right now, when I look at all of this hiding in so many different ways, I actually just go back to being sitting right across from her and her saying, then why can't it just be like this? And that was for me the success of my week. And it's going to keep me going every day right now.
That's fantastic. And you bring up an excellent point. Many of us, have worked from home previously. We now work from home. Maybe we are thinking more about our work than we ever have, because it's helping us keep our sanity, but also we need to keep our business alive. And we're forgetting that our children's structure has been completely changed, because we provided them with a little bit of their structure before, but they received most of their structure from other people, from schools and extracurricular activities. And when they had sleepovers and play dates and classes, that's where they received their structure. And in our family, we recognized last night that, we were failing a little bit because we didn't have a structure. So we actually spent some time with our daughter, and we came up with a contract and a schedule that she's going to participate in, that she agrees with, that recognizes her contribution to the family and to her schoolwork, and also gives her plenty of free time. So she has a schedule somewhat similar to ours. So I really admire that you had time to speak with your kids. For those of you in the panel that have children, I'm sure you're doing something similar. For those of you that are listening on the broadcast, feel free to put in the comments section what you're doing to help your children through these very difficult times. And maybe that's a discussion you can have when you go into the HIO Virtual Lounge and you do your one-on-one networking. The HIO Virtual Lounge is much like speed networking. You get the opportunity to meet other people and talk with them one-on-one for 7 minutes. And it's, your time to share what's going on. I'm going to introduce a new panelist, Brittany Turner. We haven't met before, so I'd really like to know more about you, what your success has been this week, and why are you joining the panel today for the first time?
Hi, thank you for having me. So I was asked to join because I've actually been to probably a couple dozen Rockstar events. So I love what you all do and I appreciate it. And so I figured it wouldn't hurt to at least join the panel for 1 or 2 times. So I work for CBS 17, which is in the background here. I'm on the sales side. So that means that I actually work with local businesses to come up with marketing plans and then implement those. That doesn't just exclusively include TV. It's also digital. It's literally anything you can imagine digital-wise. It's a quite large range, so I'm not going to get too far in depth there. But we just help local businesses grow and be the best that they can be.
So
and as far
you speak to a lot of local businesses. Do you want to share some of their successes from this week as well?
Yeah, that would be great. I had a couple of clients actually increase the amount that they were advertising because actually during a recession or a pandemic or anything like this, it's actually extremely beneficial to continue your marketing efforts. A lot of people think the opposite effect, because you're saving money and so on and so forth. But if you actually advertise more, typically you have a larger share of voice and your cost per thousand is so much smaller. So it's extremely beneficial, and I've had quite a few clients actually increase their spending. So it's a very good success for me.
That's fantastic. Regarding marketing dollars, this is really a buying opportunity. For those of you that Facebook advertising or Google advertising, you're going to see that it'll cost you a lot less to do so now. Also, maybe you couldn't afford local radio or local TV before. Because there's less people competing for that time, you can get some really good deals now, and you can lock yourself into some long-term contracts. to
Yeah.
let people know about you. So your return on investment will be very high. We have a
That's actually very, very true.
yeah. So we have
I was going to say, with your with marketing for a long-term contract, now's the time to lock in those rates, and you can lock them in for literally months, and it's very beneficial.
and we have a few social media experts coming on the panel, and they'll probably share a little bit about that as well, and what you should be doing to be successful in your business. Thank you for joining us, Brittany. I'd like to welcome Robin Christine. Tell us a little bit about yourself, but most importantly, we want to know what the successes have been for you, either your business or personally, or even your clients, if you could share that with us.
Okay, thanks so much for having me. I've been watching this for the last couple months since it started, and I'm really excited to be here with everyone. And so what we do is we specialize in integrity and marketing. So I worked for a lot of businesses before I started my own that were spending millions in rebranding because they discovered they really weren't aligned. Their brand, their products, what they were speaking and saying were not aligned with who they really were. So we like to help people avoid all that expenditure down the road and help them figure out who and what they are so that the marketing happens organically. And I specialize in, and this is really where my heart is, I specialize in small businesses and nonprofits. The folks in my agency most of us have over 20 years of experience, and most small businesses and nonprofits can't afford that. So we offer them a boutique experience for prices that they can afford. I've helped people start a business on as little as a $25 a month payment. So we really want entrepreneurs to get out there, to have the resources that they need. So we structure things that way.
What successes have you had this week?
So our success this week, we're really excited. I'm in York, Pennsylvania, and we go green on Friday. The small business community has been pushing for this for a long time. So we're excited to open our doors.
So when you say go green, they're opening up Pennsylvania. Is that fully, or are you doing a phased opening there?
Yeah. We are one of the last counties in Pennsylvania to open. And so it's a social distancing opening, but businesses are going to be allowed to be open with certain rules. So we've worked hard for that.
So we have two great Rockstar Connect events in Pennsylvania, one in Lilletts and one in Lancaster. Do you go to the Rockstar Connect events?
Yes. And I've been doing them virtually. I think we have one Thursday for Lancaster, and there was one last week for Lilletts.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce another new panelist. I'm happy to have her here on the show. Emily has been doing a lot in social media since she's been locked down and crazy being locked down. So she's been really doing a lot of experimentation with some social media like TikTok, which many of us here on the panel are just being introduced to. We're being entertained by it, but we don't really exactly know how to use it. So I want to welcome you, Emily. If you could quickly tell us about yourself and a little bit about your successes with TikTok.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. So my name is Emily. I'm the Chief Operations Officer at Heights Digital. So our office is in downtown Knightdale, North Carolina, just outside of Raleigh. A couple of successes. Well, first of all, we're not doing TikTok dances. I would consider that a success because that's not my route. But one of our clients, we started her TikTok in October, and she just hit 430,000 followers in the last few months organically. None of it was paid advertising, so I'd say that's a big success. And then other than that, another one we've had is we just hired 4 new full-time staff members in the last week, which I think is huge because a lot of people right now are cutting back on staff, and it's been really difficult. So we feel really blessed that we're able to hire people and create jobs locally.
That's wonderful. And Rockstar Connect, we have our hosts that are all over the United States. We have employees all over the U.S. as well. In addition to that, we have a very dedicated staff in the Philippines, and they worked for us, all of them for over 3 years. They're a family. We speak with them every single day. We're interacting with them every single day. And as bad as it is here, it's pretty bad there as well. I mean, their president they're on total lockdown, and their president has told them, if you go out during lockdown, we're going to put a bullet in your head. And the big companies there, like Google and Dell, etc., they've been letting people go like crazy. People are losing their jobs there even faster than here. And whereas here we do have some safety nets, they don't have a stimulus. They don't have food stamps. If you lose your job, your family and your extended family can starve. So our staff has actually reached out to us. We've been able to keep all of our staff overseas. And they've requested that if anyone needs any help in their business, whether that be, data entry or social media or any repetitive task, keeping a calendar, doing social media posting, they need that work. And Rockstar Connect will help facilitate those connections and manage those teams for you. It's a very inexpensive way to give support to your staff here in the US. A lot of you I know are much busier now than even before the virus, and you need that support. Hey, if they need an assistant, we can provide you that assistant through Rockstar Connect, and we're helping friends on the other side of the world. And I got to tell you, these people are the reason why we're able to do over 1,000 business networking events every single year. And we're excited to get back to that. So if you're interested in learning more about that, please just drop that into the chat. Thank you for that, letting me do that little plug there. Hey, welcome, Clint. Are you out on your porch sitting in a rocking chair?
Yeah, I'm actually at my grandma's house today, working from home, trying to get some proposals out and get ready for some things.
Excellent. Would you like to share, a little bit about yourself, and also what are some of your successes that you've had for you or your clients this week?
Sure. So my name is Clint Webb. I work for Coeco Alpha Systems. So we do managed print services, managed IT services on a smaller scale, but our biggest thing is multifunctional printers, wide format printing, and the such. I'm not 100% versed on it yet because I just started when all this stuff hit beginning of March. So the career change has been a success, I would say. But the success I'm going to share for this week professionally is that I was able to get out and go to places and talk to people and existing customers, no new cold calling or anything. So just to talk to them and see what the climate is, see what they're feeling, what they're running into, and seeing if I can do anything to help. So I think the fact that I'm not stopping by to sell something is probably what breeds a little bit of that success. But personal success, yesterday I had the opportunity to go to, I think it's pronounced Arete Spa in Carborough, and did the float tank for 75 minutes. And if nobody has done this, I highly suggest it. It is relaxing. It is clarifying. You get 75 minutes of peace to yourself and no stress on the body. You're just laying there. It is fantastic. I mean, I actually just posted something on LinkedIn, and the owners are giving 10% off if you mention that you heard it from me. So put it out there like this as well. So that was a huge success for me to be able to sit there for 75 minutes in my own thoughts. So that was nice. And Steven, I don't know if I missed this boat, but nice haircut, bro.
Hey, thank you. I had this haircut for the last event. I'm very grateful to my hairdresser, and I'll tell you, it was the first haircut since I started losing weight. I looked at myself, I said, gosh, I look like the old Steven. And I felt, a lot better. It gave me a lot of energy to move forward this week.
I figured you just let Sarah do it for you.
We were very close. We actually ordered barber scissors from Amazon, and if it had been one more week, she was going to take a chance in cutting it. And if it didn't turn out well, I was going to get your haircut. That was the next step. I'd like to welcome Noah Ronen. Noah is a great friend of Rockstar Connect and a great friend of mine. We've done a lot of business with each other over the years. Noah is an international coach and speaker and a newly printed author. If you could tell us briefly about yourself and share some successes with the audience. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see everyone. And my tagline is Dare to Be. And I help social leaders and executives to never settle on the norms so they can create the change they want their way. And my success actually come from, you know, when you hear me, you can hear that I am different. And I didn't understand until I was 30 and we moved for 2-3 years relocation to the US. What does it mean to be different? And 15 years after, I'm still here in the US. And what never changed is that every time I open my mouth, people know that I am different. And it became my agenda because now I understand what does it mean. And it's part of my agenda when I work with social leaders and any of my clients and my kids to talk about that and bring the conversation of the different into the room. And it can be with recruiting people that are different than you and inviting the different conversation into the room and being with different people than you. And some people say, I hired you because you're different than me. I need that different in my life. So for me, the success was yesterday when I spoke with one of my clients and she said, I have to bring right now the conversation and create conscious conversations with my team about being compassionate and having grace for the different, and how can I do that as a leader? So for me, that's a success beyond seeing my kids having friends from all over the place. Their friends are being chosen by their personality, and I feel as a mother very proud to see that in them. And that's my success for this week, just seeing leaders who care and dare to bring uncomfortable conversations into their room and into their company and into any conversation.
Excellent. And you know, businesses live today on social media. The platform that I use is Facebook. I have probably between all the groups that I maintain, I have several 100,000 people that get my message on Facebook. So I have to be very careful of what I post and think about it. And if I make a mistake, I need to remove it quickly and I need to apologize. And I think that a lot of people then, when they're behind a keyboard and a screen, it emboldens them. They have maybe they don't have a conception of how many people they're talking to, and maybe they're not thinking too much about what they're saying. And that can be wherever you are on the political spectrum. You know, some people are downright nasty, but other people are just sort of ignorant about who they're speaking to. Maybe they think they're speaking to 4 or 5 people on social media, but they could be speaking to tens of thousands of people. I mean, I've seen people screenshot posts now that they see other people make that are incendiary, and they share those posts on their social media. Businesses are damaging their reputation. They're not explaining to their employees what the brand is about and how that they are participating in the community. I don't like to block people. I don't like to unfriend people just simply because I don't disagree with them, just simply because I disagree with them. But on Facebook, you do have the opportunity to snooze people for 30 days. So I've been snoozing people like crazy for the last 3 months, just sort of putting them out there in the background. I guess I made a joke yesterday. Now I only see posts from my mother, my wife, and some lady in Alaska, but I'm still seeing a lot of posts. But what I've learned is when you do start snoozing people and you have a lot of friends on Facebook, you're going to start seeing content from completely different people in your friend circle and get to learn about them and get to participate. So that's a really good thing. You're going to probably meet a lot more people that are, in theory, your friends, whether it's just a Facebook connection. Now you can make them into a friend. But I'm sort of dreading what's going to happen when everyone starts popping up again in 30 days that I had snoozed. Am I going to be completely and utterly overwhelmed? I hope not. I hope by that point, 30 days from now, we'll all have a very different point of view on how we lead our lives and how we lead our businesses and how we treat one another. We're coming up on our second hour. We will have one or two new people joining us that will be sharing our success. We are going into the topic section of Success is Contagious at this point. And we mix it up a little bit here. We're not going to go, in line one by one. I'm going to sort of give the panelists the opportunity to think and contemplate about the question. If I call on you and you're not ready to answer, don't hesitate to say, hey, come back to me, Stephen. I want to listen to other people for a little bit longer before I contribute. Also, those of you in the audience, you're welcome to type in your answer regarding today's topic, or you can ask questions as well. Mental health is a very important thing when people are in shutdown and they're isolated. Many of my friends have said that they've been suffering from stress and they've been suffering from fatigue and they are very sad. I also sell real estate. Many of my clients, they're happy because their transactions are going forward, but they're not able to, participate in a lot in the transaction. I really have to sort of do a lot more of the work for them to help them move forward and be successful. So in my particular case, for my mental health and for the mental health of my family, I am making sure that before I anger or I criticize the people in my family that are around me, that I take a good thought about it, count to 10, really see if it's necessary to discuss that issue or problem right now and create more stress for them, or whether we should, just let it go. I know all of you are leaders, but you're also people too. You're experiencing stress. Even if your business is great, you're experiencing stress. I'd like you to share with me, and I know this is very personal, but that's what Rockstar Connect is about. It's about making meaningful connections. I want you to share what you're doing to keep your own spirits up, keep yourself mentally healthy, and how you've been helping your clients in the same way. How are you conducting your business in a different way to make sure that you're not putting undue stress on your clients and you're helping them, not hurting them. I think, Clint, you've had some really good experience interacting with clients this week. So why don't we start the conversation with you?
So to help clients, I think one of the most underrated parts of what we do as salespeople is listening. And if we can just listen to our clients and hear what their pain points are and just what they're going through, it may not be something that we can help with, but it's definitely something that we can listen and just be like a sounding board for them, kind of, and just have them have a way of release. And it's about building those personal relationships, which is the way that I work. So personally, I touched on it a few minutes ago. Taking time for yourself is a huge part for me. I think the thing that's helped me the most is every day for the last, I think it's 63 days now, have been keeping a gratitude journal. And so write down 5 things I'm grateful for from the night before, from the 24 hours before, and what I look forward to in the coming 24 hours. And, it's one of those things you kind of got to look yourself in the mirror and say, am I proud of how I showed up today? Not just for the people in your life that need you to show up, but for yourself. How do you show up for yourself every day? And I have been doing a much better job of that recently. And I cannot tell you the amount of positivity that has come from that. You got to be intentional about yourself and, be intentional about who you hang out with and the people that are in your circle. So you can't be the most positive person in your circle, the most insightful person in your circle, but you just, you need to find good people to surround yourself with.
That's very thoughtful. I really like the fact that you're keeping a gratitude chart. I think that for those of us who don't normally write things down, now it's a very good thing to write things down. Not only, you know, what our objectives are, but what is reasonable during this period of time. Because there's been so many changes in our businesses and we have so many different roles, it can be really overwhelming because we might have bit off more than we can choose. So, you know, Sarah and I today, it's Tuesday, we do Three-Martini Lunch. We also, you know, run, you know, another business. We're very involved with that. It became a little overwhelming and we just said, hey, what are the two things we absolutely have to do today? And what can we put off to tomorrow? So to alleviate some of that stress. And I think after we had that conversation, it made for a much easier day. We went and walked the dog for 30 minutes. We had a brunch, you know, a weekend brunch on a weekday, sat, reset, and came very energized back to Three-Martini Lunch to be here with everybody that's participating. Chris, you're friends with Clint. What do you think about what Clint said, and what are you doing? Because you're positive, and your employees and clients, because I know that you're working like a dog.
Well, you know, I guess when everything started, there was a very long moment of stress. In 1 week's time, I lost literally 40 to 50 parties. I mean, just every single call was, we're canceling. You know, then once we closed down, that's when the furloughs started coming, you know, so you have all that moment of uncertainty, like, hey, am I going to come in tomorrow and be furloughed? Am I going to still have a job and everything? And I was one of the very fortunate ones to be able to keep that job. Over time, I started learning to handle the stress of doing operations again and things like that, you know, by getting up in the mornings and hanging out with my little girl. I got a 2-year-old now. She's obsessed with Daniel the Tiger, which I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but it can drive you crazy after about 5 episodes, and she wants to watch 20 a day. So started taking morning walks with her. And, you know, I will say, Clint, that chart, that idea you have is amazing, and I actually would like to probably implement that sooner than later in my house. You know, I think it'd be good for my wife and I. My wife has had a lot more stress, you know, because she's had to watch the kid a lot more with me being in the office more, and then the fact that she has to cook, because I do all the cooking in the house, has made it a little difficult. But, you know, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm glad to see all the team members starting to come back in, seeing people again, talking to people again. And, yeah, the stress was real for a while, but you just got to find ways to divert it in other directions. So, you know, a good 3-mile walk in the morning is, you know, perfect for me. You're muted, Steven.
I guess I forgot to unmute myself that time. Chris, how are you helping your clients now? You know, the ones that are now booking events, maybe they're nervous about going out and eating in a restaurant. How do you help them to prepare for that the first time they're going to be doing that?
Well, actually, so I got a financial services client that called me today, and you know, we're trying to game plan the best possible way that they can do their presentations still, but still practice social distancing, making sure that the people they're presenting to are going to feel safe when they come into a restaurant and eat. So I've made many of designs of all my private dining rooms just to, you know, figure out the best possible scenario for everyone, because these are couples. So you're not going to put 2 couples at one table together. So yes, while I do not have as much, while I can't have as many people in one room as I would like, custom designing each room for each situation is probably the first step in making sure my clients feel safe whenever they book these events, you know, because if they feel safe, then their clients feel safe. So, and, you know, basically, if I can provide that feeling ahead of time, they will exuberate that feeling to their clients. Hopefully it'll, you know, be successful for them.
Fantastic. Hey, so we have 2 new guests joining us this hour. It's always, you know, a shock for them, because I want you to know, everyone who's out in the audience, the panelists that come on this show, they know we're going to talk about successes, but they never have any idea of what the second topic is going to be in the second hour. So this is really coming from their heart, and we're putting them on the spot. The people that come in the second hour, they are the bravest, because we've usually started talking about that topic and we're sort of dropping them in. So on camera now, we have Diego and Thomas Episcopo, and we're going to start off. They're going to come on as if they just started on the show, and they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves and what their success has been. And guys, I'm going to come back to you for the topic to give you some time to think about it, because we have a pretty big topic today. Tommy, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and what your success has been this week.
Oh, I lost you there. Oh, there you are. Well, you know, a little bit about me. I've been in the financial world 30 years. I decided to start focusing on what people were losing instead of what they were earning. We focus on financial literacy and getting people out of debt, businesses and individuals. Success for the week. I just brought on a pretty good agent advisor out of Arizona. I think this can be really good for us. So that's about it.
Hey, it's great to be growing. So you'll know what the topic is when I come back to you a little bit later. A lot of people, this is, you know, it's been a difficult time for them. And, you know, as leaders, you know, we even have more stress on us as business leaders, as friends, as family members and coaches. How are we dealing with mental health issues? How are we keeping ourselves positive? And how are we keeping the people around us positive? That's going to be the topic. I'll give you some time because that's a big topic. I didn't want to just drop that right on you when you came in. Okay, Tommy?
Thank you.
I'll give you some time. I'll come back to you. Diego, same thing. Why don't you just tell me about your success and a little bit about yourself, and we'll come back to you to talk about the other topic later on. I know that you were recently in a car accident. Not a great time to be in a car accident. I hope you're doing much better.
I appreciate you bringing that up, Stephen. Yes, we are recovering. I'm not as young as I used to be, so recovery is not as quick as I used to be. But now, of course, it's just, you know, replacing the car and making those decisions and all the headaches that come with that. But cars can be replaced, right? We've all been there. My daughters are safe. I'm safe. So all things considered, we're glad that we're good. But the successes that have come out of it are, you know, my wife and I get to talk more about what we want for a car. She talks more, I talk less. Happy wife, happy life, I think is the expression. And out of that, it's given me a new sense of how to negotiate on things that are important to me. And it's actually applied into my business as well. I'm able to share with everybody that I've got 3 properties that have gone under contract and picked up 4 or 5 new clients in the course of the last week. So big wins, happy about it. And I think it also shows what most of you are probably seeing. People are ready to get back into business and get going. So I'm just excited that that is becoming a reality and that we can move forward, and that whatever is going on with my body, it doesn't catch up with me later.
Well, you know, I mean, 2 months ago or 3 months ago when we started doing these, it's 3 months now, you know, we were very concerned about the commercial market, and you shared a lot of information for us. And I'm glad it's not doom and gloom, that, you know, your business is picking up, and I hope it's picking up for people involved in your sector all around the country. And what you're saying about happy wife, happy life, you know, that's something that has always been my mantra. I was taught that by my father, but I think I'm getting a little more evolved view on it, because it sort of seems like, you know, that's putting a lot on the wife. I mean, it's a lot to put on your spouse or significant other, that they should be happy so that you have a great life. It's a lot, really. And I'm sure Sarah would agree with that. You know, it's hard to be the happy person all the time, and you really can't make someone happy. They have to be happy with the situation themselves. So it's more of a collaboration, and it's giving you the permission to say, hey, I want to be happy too. You know, you're getting a new car. We're buying a new bed. People are buying a new house. They're planning a vacation. It's collaborative. And then you're both happy. And that's a great thing that I think that people are learning now, having, you know, spending so much time with their significant others, their spouses, their boyfriends, their girlfriends, they're learning it's not just about the other person happy, it's about us being happy together. And let's share that responsibility of being happy with one another and encouraging that great mental health that we need. I'd like to move over to one of our coaches, Noah, get your thoughts on the conversation thus far, and share some of your techniques and strategies for mental health.
Thank you. So first, thank you for being after your comment. From the client's perspective, I talk about the being. I say that there are two energies, the doing energy and the being. And the being energy is of the thoughts, the mindset, and our emotions. And I see my role, especially in this time, when we go through change, there are a lot of emotions and thoughts and concerns. And I see my role as their supporter is to allow them the space to just be whatever they need to be without pushing them into action if they're not ready. And it's in the same way of what you said about my wife needs to be happy. No, she needs to be what she needs to be, not for us to tell her what. Or if my son cries, and that's what I learned when I started the coaching process, rather than telling him, don't cry, be happy, I just started saying, what do you need right now? And he would say, I need to cry. So let's just let people be what they need to be. And that's my support on the client's side. And on my side, I am a giver. How many of you are givers? Just enjoy giving to other people. So I'm a giver. That's what I do as a mother. That's what I do in my profession. It's there in my head all the time. How can I support others? So for me, going to nature is what nurtures me. And I prefer to do it alone without other people, because givers are all the time there for others. So for me being alone on my own is the best support for myself. And I had to learn it through the years, that not being with people in those moments because I'm a giver is very, very important. So if you always put people first before you, that can be a good way for you to actually find time and do things on your own. Another thing I have to mention is that for years I work remotely. I start my day very early because I work with clients from all over the world. So I start my mornings at 5 a.m. for coaching sessions many times. And what was interesting is that before the COVID-19, before the lockdown, there was a hard stop for me at 3 p.m. to go and pick up my son. And then maybe I would go with work or not, but now I don't. So as a doer and a giver, I like to just keep going and going and going and going with my work. And I had to create for myself boundaries. If it's to wake up in the morning and have one set of clothes and then close the light and say, this is the end of the day, or just give myself permission because 9 to 5 doesn't work for me to say, okay, today I push as hard as I can, but tomorrow I'm taking the day off. And that's our joy, at least for me as a business owner, that I can decide how my schedule looks like and decide that Thursday is going to be my half day of not working in the morning, just being with the kids, relax, and waking up later in the day. So that's where, what worked before might not work for you right now, and just design it the way that works for you now, and that's fine.
That's very, very, very wise. And I think that what you're saying, many people can apply to what's going on in their lives now. It's a lot about self-care and taking that time. Our family, since COVID-19 and we've both been locked down, we have had every family meal together. Everyone has participated in every meal. We have not had takeout. I stop what I'm doing at 4 o'clock, no matter what I'm doing with my work. I block that time off and I start making dinner, and my daughters, whether they want to or not, are helping prepare the kitchen for us to get ready. That's a structured act of kindness that I've chosen to do with my family. But there's also those random acts of kindnesses that you can be doing for not only for your clients, but for yourself. Like in your house, whenever you leave the room that your spouse or significant other is in, ask them if there's something you can do for them, or alternatively, surprise them bring them, you know, a drink or a cocktail or a water or a smoothie, or, you know, take the garbage out to the curb or pick something up and put it away without being asked. These go a long way to removing a lot of the stress inside of the house that can make for otherwise an ugly time. I'm going to go over to you, John, because I think you're ready. I can tell by your body motions that you have a lot to share on this subject. Go right ahead, John.
Yeah, thanks, sweet. And I unfortunately needed to leave a little early, but I'm so glad that Lisamarie left. And I say that only because she's the, I feel like she is the meditation person. And I certainly don't claim to be a teacher of it, but I practice. I have ADD and it comes difficult for me. But what I found is, boy, just a few seconds, and I'm gonna put 2 drops of water in that. I may have dropped 3. I have a little meditation practice that all I do is I breathe in for about 4 seconds. I hold it for 7 seconds and I let it out. And I do that for three times. Takes me less than a minute. And it's pretty life-changing. You know, whatever the stress you're in, like you stubbed your toe and all you can do is concentrate on the problem or the issue that you have. And for me, just taking a couple minutes and doing a little bit of a pause and meditating just totally changes my perspective. Now, there's times I got to do it, like the 1 minute didn't work, right? There's times when I got to keep doing it. But for me, what's got me through this is definitely my meditation. And for my clients, mindset is totally not living in fear and seeing what you're going to do and believing what you're going to do. I don't care if you call it the secret or whatever it is, but write down what you're going to do and be very grateful for it and watch it come true.
Excellent advice. And it sort of reminds me a lot of the mindset of one of our favorite panelists on the show. And we know that's Tommy. So Tommy, are you ready to talk on this subject? You have to unmute yourself, Tommy. I can't do it today. Can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Better?
Much better. Perfect.
I'm sorry, Stephen. What subject?
On just the power of being positive to help your clients.
Well, I think that's the whole thing. I mean, it all kinds of comes across in you and what you do and how you act, and I don't know. It's pretty tough for me to have a bad day, because I usually run appointments pretty much all day. So that client that you see at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then that client you see at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that guy at 5 o'clock is going to expect the same Tommy he got at 8 o'clock. So I have to be the same guy throughout the day. And if you want to do a test on this, do it yourself. Get out there, see your clients, be that person, be the guy, be the job, and then the next guy you see, kind of do it lackadaisical and see how successful you are. It doesn't work. You may help 1 or 2 people, but over the long haul, it's not going to work.
And for you, I mean, if you've ever, some of you have met Tommy in person, others of you have not. Tommy is a specimen of physical fitness. He doesn't have an ounce of weight on him. He looks like he could lift up the side of a car. How much does that contribute to your success?
Well, it's important. I mean, I think I give myself to everybody. Hours upon hours upon hours in the day. I'd like to think that I could give at least an hour back today to me. And that's how I justify it. You can't do any of this stuff like part-time. There's no such thing as being part-time healthy. You're either healthy or you're not. You have to get up in the morning, whether you meditate, whether you do yoga, whether you go running, whether you go to the gym, whatever it is, you need to find something that's going to just ground you and center you and get you away from what you do. You know, that's your time away from it all. You know, and that's what I do. I'm up every morning at 5, unfortunately. You know, and you know, I do my thing from 5 to 6 to 6:30. I take care of the dog. I make my wife's coffee for her, and then you know I'll get ready for the day. But I'm dressed and ready to go by 8 o'clock every day. Open for business.
The schedule is so important for keeping sanity.
It is, and you know I'm a little bit militant with it. You know, I mean I'm really good as long as I'm following the system and the schedule. If you get me away from all of that, I'm probably a mess. But you know, I'm just regimented. I know what works, and I stick with it. And people want to know that they can call you, and you're going to make it all warm and fuzzy for them. They want to know that, you know. You have to be available. You have to answer your phone. You just have to be there for these people that you're helping. Don't just be the typical person and help that person make a commission and walk away. That is the recipe for disaster. I don't care in what kind of business you're in, and especially mine. You know, if there's a guy out there that has done that to a client, trust me, you're serving them up on a silver platter for somebody like me. I mean, it's not going to take too long for me to get in there and say, hey, this is not happening, it's not happening, goodbye. And that's the end of that. So you want to bulletproof yourself because there's a lot of sharks out there. There's a lot of people that they want the easy route. They want to get into your book of business. They want to steal your clients. And you got to make that very difficult for them to do. Very difficult. My persistency is 99% right now. So nobody leaves me. And I like to think that's because, you know, I'm pretty good at what I do. I don't like to put feathers in my own cap. You know, I like to think I'm pretty good at what I do. You know, it's the service of the clients. It's what you have to do day in and day out. If you tell these people you're going to be there for them, well, then you have to be there for them. You have to turn on a dime when they have an issue and they have a problem. If you're not going to be that person, don't be self-employed. People ask me all the time, well, what are your hours? Whatever it takes. I don't have any hours. If that means me working till 10, 11 o'clock at night to finish all my PIP, I'll do it. If that means me meeting I met a truck driver at 4:30 in the morning at a truck stop because no one else would meet him. Go figure, you know. So
And
be that person.
It's fantastic. You really do need to be that way. And, you know, this morning, one of my first calls this morning boy, I'm having a hard time getting that word out. I called one of my clients this morning. She's 89 years old. Today was her 90th birthday. She also recently just moved into an independent living facility. We had to put her home of 20 years on the market just because the stress was too much from COVID-19. She had to make that change. So very difficult for her. And I had some paperwork that I needed her to sign this morning, and I could just tell that it was upset. She was upset. She was upset about what was going on around the United States, but she was also upset about the transaction and her family, etc. And I said, you know, I'll let the paperwork, yes, time is of the essence in real estate. Paperwork needs to be signed. That being said, I'm going to let the people that are waiting for the paperwork know that they're going to get their paperwork signed and they can wait. And I'm going to reach back out to you when it's a better time for you, and we're going to get that paperwork signed. So you need to have empathy for your clients right now and the situations that they're in. And that's part of how you provide service. There's a lot of people that do what you do. It's a question of how you do it and how you provide that service. I'm going to give Atoya, who's a new panelist, a chance to chime in on this topic. I know you've been helping a lot of people fill out paperwork for the SBA. You've been doing this for people that aren't even your client, completely free of charge. It's very difficult for people to fill out this paperwork and also do their business as well. what do you think is necessary for you, since you're giving so much, to take care of yourself, and how are you taking care of your customers and how they feel?
Well, I would say for me to help myself is I've had to learn that, kind of what Noah was saying, is I have to learn to accept whatever feeling and emotion that I'm going through and own that. I don't block it. Yesterday I actually took most of the day off because I was in mourning for what is going on in this, in the world right now. And I think so much emotions was coming by watching the news and saying on Facebook that all the emotions were just overwhelming. So I took the day to just regroup and to just feel that feeling. And I think that's the biggest thing as an entrepreneur and as parents and as individuals, is that we have often been taught to not feel your emotions, that emotions are somewhat bad and just to move forward. And that's not it. And then we tend to beat ourselves up if we're not able to, really, produce the way that we need to. Like you had made the statement, Stephen, about people were feeling tired and depressed. But if we don't implement things to help us get through that and have someone to talk to, then it really is debilitating. And that's one of the things I think I do provide for my clients. It's just being that listening ear, being that accountability partner, and just reaching out and say, hey, what can I do to help you? It doesn't even have to do with anything with this business, but what can I do to help you succeed? What can I do to help you get through this? And if you need me, then that's the person that I play in your life, because I've learned to accept people for who they are and where they're at. And sometimes you just need that person to motivate you or just listen to you, because oftentimes we can't go to our family and vent, especially if it's about you. So we just need that person that we can just really vent to. And, that's just how I really feel we can make a difference in individuals.
I appreciate you sharing that, because it, very personal stuff there. I'm going to put Domenic on the spot, because Domenic, it's challenging. He's working very hard. He's taking the opportunity to increase his business. He's helping his clients, but he's also, engaged, making, that leap into marriage. He has a blended family at home. Has to be sensitive to that all the time. What are you doing to you always seem like I got nothing to worry about, but of course we all have something to worry about. How are you handling that stress, Domenic?
Do you want the right answer or do you want the true answer?
I want both.
All right.
What do you what are you actually doing?
So first things first, I agree completely with Tommy. You have to have a routine and you have to stick to it. That's incredibly important. You can't just let yourself sleep in just because you can. Make yourself get up, make yourself do the things that are going to get you into your day and are going to get your mind working and allowing that to exercise. The other thing is that I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning. First thing I do is, I get my coffee brewing, then I head to my home gym and I work out every single day. Why? Because, that's what gets the blood flowing for me. That's what helps me, mentally prepare for the day. That's my meditation time, right? Like I don't have any noise. There's nobody around me. And I just get any kind of frustration or anything that's on my mind. I let it burn off in the gym. Second thing, I can't watch the news. I don't do it. I don't listen to it. I have to stay away from it. I mean, make sure I keep up to date on what's pertinent for my business, but beyond that, there's just too much negativity out there, and just have to. I mean, look, you have to have empathy for everything that everybody's going through. But if it hurts your personal mental health, then you to be focusing on that, then you can't take care of your family. You can't take care of your clients. You can't take care of your neighbors. So you have to take care of what's between your ears first. And for me, that includes not paying attention to the horrible things that are going on in the world. And then, you know, I just make sure that I enjoy the opportunities that I have right now. I've never had an opportunity in my life to spend 3 straight months with my children and really getting in there and being more of a part of their life than, say, their friends or their influences on social media and those sorts of things. I've gotten to spend so much more time with Heather than I ever would have if we were both at our offices working and going in every which direction. Even if we're doing different things, we're in the same place, and we get to stop in the middle of the day and talk to each other, and it's just so much more engagement there. So I'm just incredibly thankful for the opportunity that we've had to just really reconnect and with what's important in our lives. And then, you know, I take that to my clients and just ask them what's important to them and what's going on with them in their world, in their little home. I make sure that they're okay, that they're healthy, that their family is doing well. And then I ask them what's important with their lives, empathize with that, and relate and let them know, you know, these are the things that I'm focusing on, and share the thankfulness. And, you know, when you exude positivity for people, they reciprocate it. And I think that hearing that other people are having positive experiences helps the people that I talk to.
That's, it sounds like you gave us the right answer.
Well, the other answer is I like to drink bourbon, and and I do have quite the collection. And you know, when we're able to gather in groups larger than 10, I'd love to have everybody over for a little party.
That's very good. You know, something that's I raise your hand if you find you're watching a little bit more comedies on TV. Maybe you're watching old sitcoms from when you were a kid or when you were younger. Yeah, around when it gets to about 10 o'clock at night, I just, you know, and Sarah and I are reflecting on the day. I turn over, I go, I need a little bit of comedy. And some of the oldies are really good, are really the goodies.
I'm watching old Hurricanes games. Like one of the first things that I did when all the sports went off is I just went back and rewatched the every single game that I could find from the 2006 Stanley Cup run.
Well, yeah, it's whatever works. We've been watching every episode of Cheers in order.
That's
and
a lot
I have
of
to tell you that is over 1,000 episodes. That show was on forever, and it's just as funny today as it was then, if not funnier. You can really see how society has changed greatly in the show's been off the air for over 20 years and started in the mid 80s. You can really see how society has changed, how the workplace has changed, and what was acceptable then, not so much now, and how some of the things you may be nostalgic for, even though you know you really can't do those things today. Diego, so you sort of got a handle on the topic, or do you want me to reframe the question?
Yeah, I think I got it, and I really have enjoyed everybody's different methods and thought process with regards to it, and I really appreciated John's comment on the meditation, and Noah's support of Tommy's comments that, you know, if we're going to bring our all, we have to be our all. And I'm a strong believer that, and this may sound contrary, but it's really not, that if we're going to choose to be the best us, we have to choose ourselves first in how we treat ourselves so that we give our best to those that we serve. And so if I want to give 100% to folks, I've got to be 100%. Otherwise, I'm shortchanging myself and anyone who I'm serving. That being said, Tommy and Domenic, you probably won't catch me at a 5 a.m. conference call. I'm more on the other end of the spectrum, working late. But that being said, I'm still up at 6:15, so not that far behind you guys. But I feel that if I am not in a structured situation, putting best foot forward for myself, then I'm going to find it hard to put my best foot forward for anybody else. And I've learned that lesson with my own family.
So your advice to the audience is to, find a structure that works for you. It may be different than your structure was before, and it may be your structure going forward. I know Domenic his structure is completely changed, but I have a feeling, he sort of likes the way this works for him and his family. He's going to continue that way. Concur, Diego.
Yeah, if I can offer, one of the best lessons I learned in life, and I find that everyone's best message to anyone who's willing to listen is to speak about your best mess, because the best lessons you learn come from the best messes you got out of. And one of the messes I got out of was just realizing one day that I was bringing too much of my pressure from my 9 to 5 home and placing it on my family. And I hope none of you have been there, but some of you probably have, where you'd come home and you've got little kids and they all run to the back door and like, Daddy, and it was wonderful. And then they got a little bit older and they got to be the reverse. They'd run away as soon as they got home, because the first thing I would do is like, did you do your homework? Did you clean your room? Did you listen? And they got tired. And I realized I was bringing home what I didn't need to bring home. And I had to sit down and apologize to my family and say, I'm really sorry. This is not the father, not the husband I want to be. And having that clarity of conversation opened my eyes to say, I've got to be the same thing with my clients. Just be transparent, be honest. And I've learned that they, number one, respect me, and we set the right expectations at the beginning so that they know the quality of the work that I'm going to bring to them is going to be nothing than my best. And if I'm not, I give them permission to call me out on it, because that's the only way I'm going to get better. And the kind of clients that work well with me are the ones that we can have just an honest conversation. And when they call me out, I thank them, because they can be sure that it's going to double my resolve to meet their expectations. And that's just being transparent.
That's terrific. And when I'm involved with a transaction, I've done some real estate transactions with some of the people that are in the audience or on the panel. I'm in a team situation. It's never what you should do. Is that this is what we should be doing. I suggest that we do this. It's always a we, so they know that I'm in their corner. So when they have a win, it's our win. And when they're feeling stressed, they know that I'm there with them. I guess that's that old social worker in me, and I started off as a geriatric social worker. When you were talking about your family, and I'm looking at everyone here, and I can see the body language. I can see that it really spoke to Robin. So Robin was nodding her head like, preach, Diego. I see exactly what you're saying. I felt that you want to, share your strategies, Robin, and also elaborate a little bit on what Diego had to say.
Yeah, definitely. So I actually, 5 years ago, my husband was killed in a spear fishing accident, and my daughter was a newborn, and we lived on island. And so we kind of had a super stressful situation. I got through that using yoga, and I then became a yoga instructor. But that has served me so well during this time too, to remain grounded and to show up. I loved, how you said that, Diego, just be the person that you need to be for your family. So many of us right now we're with our family all the time, and that's not a situation that we're used to. And while, we love it so much, then there's the balancing the work with it and the virtual school. And I definitely felt I was really ungrounded when we first started, virtual school and everybody being home, and how am I going to still work and everything. So that took a lot of how do I want to show up and how do I want to be. And so that definitely spoke to me. And guys, hold me accountable. If I'm not, you know, if I'm not showing up the best I can be today, say something and, you know, bring that home to me.
You know, you do what you do for a living. You're helping people bring their brand and show their integrity. I would imagine that sometimes people come to you and they say, well, I want to project something that I'm not. And they want to lead sort of a dual life.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, you want to discourage them from that because it's only going to be a disappointment.
Yeah.
Right now, what are your clients experiencing? You know, they want to project that they're being very successful and everything else. Hard to live up to that lie, possibly. What do you do, Robin?
Yeah. Actually, one of my first clients was a big learning experience. She wanted to be something that she really wasn't, and she had fallen into alcoholism as a coping mechanism of being someone she really wasn't in the world. And you know, we found a way through that, just adjusting her mindset. And so right now, helping clients, I loved what Noah said, you know, what does it look like right now? So what's the best that we can be right now? And what's our plan today? And just chunking it out. I mean, especially with everything going on right now and the stress level of people that I've been dealing with, and business owners, and the fear, and, you know, things like that, and just really getting it down to what's our best strategy today, and we can go from there and build on that.
Excellent. Great advice. And I can tell you're good at what you're doing because you're listening to what everybody is saying here and really paying attention, which is great. I imagine that's essential to your type of position, 100%.
Yes. Yes.
Brittany, this is your first time on the panel. I hope you've been enjoying yourself. I don't know if it's what you expected to be. I know you've watched quite a few of the panels, but actually participating in something completely different, because you really do have to share with yourself. This is just like we're at a networking event, a Rockstar Connect event in person, and we're really sharing to try to establish who we are and what the other people are like. What are you doing right now to, you know, keep up your sanity, your positivity? And when you're sad, what do you do to just let yourself be sad, to give yourself the right to do that?
Well, first and foremost, I agree completely wholeheartedly with everyone that was talking about yoga and meditation, that it's really just a cleanse for your soul. I don't know, it takes some practice to get to that point with meditation, but once you get to that point where you can really just block out everything else, it really is cleansing for your mind. So it's helpful at the very least, especially considering I live 2 blocks from the Capitol. So I've been right in the middle of all of this rioting and everything. Protests went right by my building the other day, and I'm not complaining about that by any means, but it's also a little scary because there's a lot of stuff happening around me that I can't control. So there's definitely that. But whenever my clients have reached out to me about what they've been going through, especially with all of this COVID stuff, you know, I definitely agree with Clint and everybody else said, you know, being an ear for everybody, listening, just being someone for them to vent to, at the very least, you know. And then on top of that, just calling them, even if they're not a current client. I have a lot of people that are previous clients that are not even on air or on digital right now, that I just call and check in with. And you would be surprised how happy that makes them, that I care enough to just check in with them, you know. So I'm sure most people are doing that type of thing. So that's one option. And then the other part is I'm just pulling a lot of research. I'm doing a lot of trainings for myself. I am kind of a nerd, so I've been doing a lot of Google training. So like Google Analytics training and keyword search build trainings and things like that to just improve my own self. But any research that I find, I'm sending that stuff to my clients as well if I can, if it's going to be something that would be beneficial to them.
You're making yourself to be a servant.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's not about selling them at this point. It's about establishing and building and growing that relationship that I have. It's hard to cold call these days in sales. Nobody's even at their business most of the time. A lot of people are still working from home, so it's not like if you found a phone number that you could call them and they would even be there. So it's trying other techniques, reaching out on LinkedIn, reaching out on Facebook even, and just trying to reach out and help the best way you can, because they're kind of going through a crisis too. So just being as helpful as you can is the best thing I can offer.
Excellent. And I like that you bring up social media as a tool. I have always said that for networking and managing a sphere of influence or nurturing your tribe, there's nothing better to help you be more efficient than that, actively participating in your social media, reading what other people are saying, understanding what they're saying. But also now I think you have to take a little extra step. You have to see, is someone hurting? Can you brighten up their day by leaving a positive comment or leaving a good reaction? I've always been an advocate of the heart, the heart reaction on Facebook. I said it doesn't cost a penny more to leave a heart than it does a like, because it's an acknowledgement. And now Facebook has taken it one step further, and they've added care as well. I suggest you use those things. And if you see someone that you really care about and you may disagree with them, what they're posting publicly, but you would like to have a conversation with them, that's an opportunity to private message them. Not to change their opinion. Don't try to do that. Very clearly right off and say, look, I'm not trying to change your opinion in the least bit. I feel and I understand where you're coming from, and this is where I'm coming from. This is the situation that I'm having, that I may not be broadcasting publicly, but I'm hurting too, and I want you to understand that you have my ear, and that I don't know what you're going through, but I want to know what you're going through. Mark, are you still there? I see your image up. I'm not sure whether you're still on the screen or not.
He's not here.
Okay, very good. Just didn't want to make him miss the opportunity to share. Katia, I'm sorry I made you wait to last, but I felt that you would gain a lot from hearing what everybody else had to say before you formulated your answer. And if you could throw some wisdom at us, we'd all enjoy it.
Yes. Well, first of all, I loved everybody's feedback. That was really a great question. For me, it's very important. Then I walk the walk for my client. And mental health is, I cannot be present for my client. I cannot be everything I need to be for them if I am not fully present. And one of the things that I teach them is, because I am a speaker and I also teach them to be a great speaker and to formulate their signature talk, one of the things that we talk a lot is about food. Food is a huge part of things that I tell my client to eliminate before they travel or they go on stage. We need to be so present for the audience. Then usually 10 days before a talk, I tell everybody we eliminate dairy, we eliminate alcohol, and if it's not whole, if it's not coming as a whole, we do not consume it. And it's very hard to do when you travel or when you're French like me and you end up always in Europe or, with Europeans on a stage. But that has really been one of the major things that we have implemented at my return from Rome, Italy, when COVID started, and we have implemented that at home. So we've been on this diet, I guess, to be able to be fully present, fully aware, and really in tune with what's happening. So we have actually had no alcohol beside one date where we did like a mixing wine thing, but really we've been very, very good about that. And food, I believe, is at the core of our mental health. The second thing, like I think it was Domenic who talked about, I tell my client no more than 5-minute news in the morning and at night. And that's all you do. In 5 minutes, you can absorb so much of what you need to be on top of your own business. So there's no need for more. That's why you don't get the negativity, positivity, or you don't even get into this talk, then you shouldn't really get into. I think it was Clint who talked about the gratitude journal. So when I brush my teeth at night, I'm in front of my mirror and I always ask myself, is there anything I could have done to be a better person today? And if I didn't do it, why? And how am I going to be better tomorrow? And in a way that was, I really like the writing, the writing it down like he talked about, but this is one of the things then we do. But we also, because we always worked, both of us, at home, and in between the two of us, we have 6 kids. So not always the 6 kids together, but they're in and there and out and in. So one of the things is every Thursday night, my partner that's his evening. So we can schedule work, we can write, but Thursday night, we are totally independent. And everybody knows in the household, and on Thursday night, this is the only meal where you're gonna just go in the fridge, help yourself, and not having like the dinner sit down then we have. And then every Saturday morning, for me, it's cooking. So Saturday morning, I'm an assistant for everybody, and I really cook for the week. And my partner usually leaves the house, get on his bicycle, and go do his creative writing, or this kind of things really help us to regenerate ourselves. And then when we come back all together, it's really a time where we can be more present and happier, and we have had our own time. We also don't have a TV. That's a huge plus. We don't do Netflix, we don't do TV show, we don't do binging. And I know it's very hard for some people to understand, because right now, like I was almost jealous, Stephen, when you said, oh, we watched this comedy. And I was like, oh, I would like to do this right now. But I know then it would, for us, it would be like, oh, this show, and then suddenly it's 10 shows then we're watching. So we eliminated that as well doing this. And Sunday is the day where we literally leave the house. And even during COVID, we left the house, we went and picnic on the, like in the water, we just bring a blanket, we picnic, and we literally gone from 10 a.m. until pretty much 4 p.m. when we come back. And that's in the nature, outside, whether it's raining, pouring, or all of that. And we're staying pretty mentally healthy right now with all of that.
Excellent. Regarding that's a common theme that everybody's been talking about is, the news. I'm glad we cut cables, what do they call the cable cords, about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago at this point. So we immediately lost CNN, Fox News, MSNBC,
Yes.
in order to watch local news.
Hey, Tommy.
Tommy, if you could just could you mute Tommy, please? So, if we want to see really negative news, we really have to make an effort to do that. So cutting the cords is a great way to get news out of your life. As far as food is great, guys. If you don't, who here participates in like Facebook food groups? And I'm not necessarily talking about foodie groups, but places where you can share recipes and show pictures of your dinner and talk about those. I have to tell you, there's never any negativity in those groups. People are extremely supportive of one another and excited for one another. You'll make some great friends in those groups. So find in your area either a local food group where you can basically be, especially if you're someone who likes to entertain and you're not able to do that now, it gives you the opportunity to share with other people. So check out those food groups. And we're coming up to the end of the hour here. And I really appreciate our panelists. This is not easy. We share a lot on the Three-Martini Lunch. And that's what would happen if you were going to a real Three-Martini Lunch. The reason why they were always popular, excuse me, is because people would let their guard down and let people know about themselves, and then they would decide if they do business with one another. And that's very similar to the Rockstar Connect events that we hold in the evening all over the country. It's the same thing. You're going to meet people like that are on this panel here, because these are hosts and people that participate at Rockstar Connect events. And yes, we like to make money, but we also like to make meaningful connections and help other people and give first and foremost. That's where we get our instant return on investment, because we feel great when we help other people, when we show up, when we participate. We get immediate satisfaction. Now, this evening, we've been hosting every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night evening events. They are somewhat local, but they're really on a national scale too, and you're welcome to participate in them. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we're having an event for Jupiter and Palm Beach, and Tommy is the host of that event with Mark Sher, and they're planning a very special event. It's going to be different. It's going to be a new type of virtual networking, and it's going to be fun and exciting. We're inviting everyone to go to that. Sarah is going to drop the link. Please feel free to share that link with anyone within your network that wants to do something really fun tomorrow night, to learn about yourself and also to laugh and have a really good time. I'm not going to give too much up about it because it's sort of an experiment in networking, and it'll be your opportunity to participate. Now, before we close out, there's something I like to do. I like to ask our host real quickly who they would like to connect with. That also gives you in the chat the opportunity to say who you would like to connect with on the panel as well. Let me start with Katia. Who would you like to connect with on the panel this week? Even if you know them already.
Well, most of them, but I would love to connect with Brittany, Diego, and Atoya. I connected on LinkedIn earlier with Robin, so.
That's excellent. Atoya, by the way, is starting a new not-for-profit. My wife, Sarah, who is running the Three-Martini Lunch, is participating on her board of directors. It's to support veterans. So anybody who would like to know about her new not-for-profit, please, feel free to ask about it in the chat. Clint, who would you like to connect with?
I think I'm connected with everybody but Atoya and Robin, so I will take care of that very soon.
Excellent. Robin, who would you like to connect with?
I definitely would like to connect with Noah. We have a really similar tagline, which I love, and Clint as well, and Atoya as well. We do a lot of work that I think we can align really well on.
And
Thank you, everybody.
I really enjoyed you as a panelist. I'm surprised that you don't do this for a living and have like a TV show or podcast or something. Brittany, who would you like to connect with? You have to unmute. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. So right off the top of my head, John, who's not even on here anymore, but I can reach out to him in other ways. And then I definitely wanted to reach out to Robin and Katia.
Excellent. And Tommy, who would you like to connect with?
I would like to connect with Diego, Brittany, and Robin.
Excellent. And Diego, who would you like to connect with?
Well, Thomas just read my mind. I've already connected with Domenic and Clint, and I've met Brittany several times. So Katia and Atoya and Noah, it'd be great to connect with you all.
And Atoya, who would you like to connect with? It looks like everybody wants to connect with you.
Well, I would like to connect with everyone as well. I would love to see how we could combine forces and help as many people as we possibly can.
And we will rule the world. Okay,
Absolutely.
Connect forces. Domenic, who would you like to connect with?
Well, I know most everybody in here, but I'm thinking Atoya, Brittany, and Robin. Since I haven't connected with them, I will remedy that shortly.
Excellent. And those of you that are listening to the program where it's being broadcast, you know, you can drop in the comments section in any Facebook group you are around the country. My team we do monitor that. We will know what you want, and we're able to fulfill what you need. We have Rockstar Connect live networking events that will be starting this month in some parts of the country. And we're opening up in other parts where we're allowed. In July, we should have several live physical networking events, and we're going to continue to do the virtual networking events. You can go to rockstarconnect.com to learn about all those events. Next Tuesday, we will be back again for a Three-Martini Lunch, 2 to 4 p.m. If you would like to support Rockstar Connect, keep in mind we are not doing live events, which is the main way that we pay our employees, including those wonderful people I spoke about in the Philippines. You can make a contribution on our website. If you're interested in becoming a panelist, you are welcome to reach out to us on that website, and we will give you an interview and see if you have the chops to be on the show. We're going to leave the HIO networking room open so you can go in and do some speed networking. We're going to leave that for an hour. Maybe some of our hosts will go in. Some of them may already be there. Thank you. Everyone on the panel, if you could please raise your hand. Bye. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Thank
Bye.
You.